Hello and welcome back to Heartsvine 4. So, in the last video we did something major. We unpaused for the first time, but we actually unpaused too early because I hadn't started training any units under here in Recruit and Deploy. So I've started training a Panzer division. We won't need that yet, but the Panzer template for the German Empire is actually quite good. So I've started the construction, or sorry, the training of a Panzer division, and I've started training 2 infantry divisions. We're going to scale this up once we actually need it, but our manpower right now is actually 0, and our so all this stuff is basically just set up here to I guess I suppose basically just like to give us a guideline of what we're doing in case I forget in the future. Actually, I'll set that to 3. So yeah, we're going to need equipment and we're going to need people for this to work. That's going to be solved once we get rid of some of these ideas, which kind of suck. Especially this one, quenched militarism. That one is going to get removed with events and with focuses. I think organize the youth? Yeah, organize the youth removes it. So, we finished some training stuff there, and I did some organizational stuff on the troops here. So we've got the Marine Corps and the Asian Theater here. Actually, I'm going to set the... I have an India garrison, yes, Ceylon garrison, I'm going to call that one. The Ceylon garrison is going to be in the Asian Theater as well. Currently the Marines are there. We are going to move them where we might need them. So we don't control the like East Asia anymore. In past versions, this was all like directly controlled from Berlin. So with that in mind, we don't actually have to worry that much all about this stuff. We'll have Marines set up somewhere here, I think, in order to be able to quickly invade somewhere if we need to. Like for example, the Dutch East Indies. If the Netherlands becomes problematic. Let's see what they're doing actually. They are doing the Dutch army, so like we don't know what they're gonna do. But depending on what they do, they could become problematic. I doubt it though. They're probably gonna be our friends for a while. But at least we can set ourselves up to be ready to, for example, counter the Bengal communists here, the syndicalists of the Barachia commune. Or, for example, we can take over Siam for some extra rubber and those kinds of things. Not that we necessarily need that right now, but we will in the future, because we are currently trading for... Well, we're trading for tungsten right now, so we might want to like focus on getting that first. But we are low on chromium, and we're gonna get low on rubber and especially aluminium. That is so important for planes and for some ships, I believe. I'm not sure though about the ships, but at least planes. And we're gonna need a lot of those. So, I did the fleet stuff. I actually didn't mess around too much with the fleets that we already have, because the ones we have are quite good, at least for the response fleets. Meaning, essentially, they're good for a fleet meant to be based somewhere in the region and then respond to threats spotted by patrol fleets. So we actually don't have any patrol fleets. We only have the fleets that are basically the strike forces, the task force. So we're going to need more patrol fleets. That's what I've set up here. We got Patrol Fleet A and Patrol Fleet B, which I haven't named yet. They're currently set up with icons indicating battle cruisers, because their strongest ship, I believe, is the equivalent of a battle cruiser in this universe. They're also set up with the escort icon. I'm going to change that at some point, maybe, if I find a better one. But for now, it's gonna work out. So we're going to need to start making more of these fleets that can go around spotting and finding the enemy ships for the big fleets, so that they can come in and, you know, engage them with their big guns, so that our Death Stars can do the work. So I've basically got that set up. I've got these guys, the U-boat fleets. They're all marked as... So I've marked these with the C here. I think that's capital ship, decisive battle sort of kind of deal. I'm not sure though. I've got these ones set up as intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance, which I believe is what U-boats technically are. Though obviously that's not how you would address them in the early 20th century. That is how you address them in the modern day, I believe. Or like how you refer to them. We got a carrier, a modern carrier in reserve. Probably going to put that in one of these fleets, depending on circumstances, who our enemy is going to be. But mostly we're going to start focusing on making those patrol fleets. So I did change one of these. So we had 2 U-boat fleets for the Mediterranean, and I think that's kind of intense. We don't need that much. So I took one of them, which was this one, and I set it to 2nd Atlantic. That way we can have the eastern seaboard here, the Baltic Sea Fleet, the Ostseeflotte, Ostseeflotte, or say, yeah, Ostseeflotte, that can sort of be moved out into the North Sea and help blockading, or help with the blockade of England and France. And we can use the small one here, the one that I moved from the Mediterranean. We can use that one to help blockade certain choke points like Cape Verde Plain and the sort of African coast here. Or we could send it out. Let's see, what's the range on this bad boy? Yeah, it's got a range, and it might be because of... Is that ours? No. I don't know why it's got that great range, but maybe it's just our our U-boat's really good. Oh, it might be because of basing rights in Denmark, actually. Yeah. Or Greenland and Iceland. Let's see. Yeah, Denmark. We have basing rights with Denmark somehow. Oh, they're part of our faction, the Reichspakt. Okay, so we can... Yeah, we can assign the 2nd Atlantic Fleet, which I think I already set somewhere down here. Yeah, to Ascension over here. We can actually assign that one to like Greenland or Iceland. And set that one up to be ready to, for example, sort of set up a blockade against Canada in case we end up in a conflict with the Entente. Or we can blockade the United States of America, which obviously a blockade against the most resource-rich country in the world isn't that efficient, but at least we can keep its resources from going out to other people. I think that's about it. Yeah, let's unpause and see what happens now. Staying on speed 3 still. We're training our troops mostly so that we can build up some command power and some army experience, though that one is going to be really slow. It's mostly going to be the command power that we're looking for here. I believe you get that from training. I know you do from fighting at least. Yeah, I could put some people on the garrison armies just cause. You don't really need one, or like need anyone on them, but it doesn't hurt. Actually, I think so. We should set them up like this, and then just have one guy. There you go. Send our send our son up to Africa. Let him deal with the defense of Africa. Okay, so we got the Totalist charter. So a bunch of colorful folks here. Mussolini, Valois, and Beria. That's Lavrenti Beria, I believe. AKA the head of, I believe, the NKVD. Yeah, the head of the NKVD. I think, though it wasn't called NKVD under him though. Maybe it was later on. But the head of the NKVD sort of during World War II and such. Possibly pre. I'm not completely sure on that. But essentially, he's had his hand in many an atrocity. Mussolini, I hope we're all familiar with this boy, and Valois. I don't know who Valois is actually. But he is a French totalist. So totalism in Kaiserreich is the closest analogy to Stalinism. You can see here they discuss their common ground in Birmingham. Oof. It has been agreed that Maximism, Sorelianism, and National Syndicalism, that one sounds like National Socialism, all share basic principles of the state's primacy. By the way, Maximism is... wait, is National Syndicalism, is that Beria? Oh my god. Maximism, I believe, is Mussolini, and Sorelianism is Valois. All share basic principles of the state's primacy in the socialist struggle, the role of national identity within the state, and the importance of a strong central authority to preserve and build socialism. The Charter also claims that the socialist state is the final stage of human development, and that democracy is not necessary to achieve socialism. The statements have drawn great criticism from other socialist factions who gave it the name Totalism, as a play on totalitarian socialism, which has been eagerly accepted by Mosley the fuck, who added it to the manifesto's name, attributing it to their total commitment to socialism. Oh, Oswald Mosley, fucking turtleneck weirdo. He historically was the leader of the British Union of Fascists, I believe, in Britain, of course, in the lead up to World War II. So he was a fascist, and now he is a totalitarian socialist, which is quite the well, I mean, it is quite the change. But in terms of oh, there he is. In terms of Mussolini and in terms of Mosley, who are kind of, I believe, I view them as opportunists. Like they're not principally concerned with sort of the ideological struggle or whatever. They are more concerned with obviously getting into power, and also concerned with very like more minute details, like Mussolini with his economical ideas, the corporatism and all that stuff, which, you know, could have potentially been realized under some sort of leftist government, like Stalinist, for example, but you know, he realized it under a very right-wing government instead. And Oswald Mosley in this case, I assume, is like sort of going down a similar path. Let's see, our submarines have arrived. Oh, have arrived up in Greenland. So now we're getting food from Middle Africa. So you can see that this is clearly like an exploitative colonial venture. We're extracting resources from Africa. Thanks to the initiative of the new colonial administration, Middle Africa is now producing grains and canned food in significant quantities, enough so that it relieves some of the pressure of our domestic industry. Without the new colonial administration, this kind of benefit would be impossible. Yes, never another Schweinemode. Is that a reference to maybe like mass butchering of pigs to get meat for Germany in World War I? I know for a fact that Germany in World War I was like struggling for not just canned food, but like cans, period. So they had to like import a bunch of materials in World War I. Like they were struggling under the blockade of Britain and stuff. So we've got, speaking of Britain, we've got Edward, our boy, crowned as King of Britain. So George is dead, and Edward the Eighth is now King of Britain. Except, you know, not in Britain. He is a vengeful and ambitious man. Yeah, he's also a colorful character in real life. Married a American woman. Created all kinds of controversy, and then stepped down. Or, not necessarily in that order, but... like, he stepped down from succession. But here, he is king. I wonder if he's, like, married a Canadian. Probably hasn't. Probably he's married someone of nobility. Mackenzie King there, I believe, a Prime Minister. Yeah, Prime Minister of Canada. Payment of Brest-Litovsk reparations. Yeah, so this is Russia's payments towards us. So this is basically like the German reparations towards France, I guess. Alright, so we get some economic austerity there from Russia. Speaking of. Okay, so the head of government is Savinkov. So this is probably going to happen. They're probably going to have a military dictatorship in Russia. Which, like, it's not the worst for us. You know, rather that than... Whoa. Afghanistan declared war on the Dominion of India. Yeah, that happens. So the Dominion of India is an intent colonial holding that Britain managed to hold on to. Hold on for dear life when they lost their empire. And we got the legation cities, yeah, so the profits from the legation cities, all these cities that are organized, and let's see here. Following the 1926 German intervention in China and the Treaty of Nanjing, or Nanking, signed in November of that year, foreign trade was left to the richest cities of the coast. Under the joint control of world powers owning interest in China, the independence of this consortium of cities was guaranteed by 8 powers, Australasia, Austria, Canada, Germany, Japan, the French Republic, Russia, and the USA. The French Republic obviously doesn't exist anymore. Or actually, that is not true. It does. But it's Philippe Pétain, a military dictatorship that is currently in exile in North Africa. I probably should have mentioned that earlier, but I kind of like glossed over it because, you know, I don't think it's very interesting. It needs some work, I think. It needs some work. Yeah, so Russia and the USA. Foreign investments and the legation cities themselves flourish not only through foreign trade, but also thanks to smuggling into Allgemeine Ostasien and Qing Imperial territories. So this is kind of like your 1930s adventure movie settings, something like that, like Indiana Jones stuff with smuggling and all that. That's kind of cool. I mean, you know, it's capitalism, so you know it's not that cool, but you know, our investment in the legation cities is still paying us dividends. Let the money flow. Forgive me, I was taking a drink and I forgot that I didn't unpause. Oh my god, okay, so yeah, this is the event for the Anglo-Afghani war here. It's kind of similar to the modern border conflict between India and Afghanistan. Sorry, not India and Afghanistan, India and Pakistan. Yeah. Black Monday. Okay, so this one is important. So this is like the stock crash during the Great Depression. Except this time here, it's the Berlin Stock Exchange instead of the stock exchange in, I believe, Wall Street. So this is essentially going to like completely wreck the economic situation in every single like nation that's sort of part of this globalized world economy right now, and that that has drastic outcomes for the not only like the geopolitical situation, but like the political situation inside the individual countries. For example, like every country except for the countries who are, you know, obviously not part of this, you know, economic sort of fellowship, will feel this. So the Union of Britain and Commune of France are vaccinated towards this. They're immune to the this crisis of capitalism here. While Russia feels it, I believe. Not as hard as us, though. Actually, they don't feel it. But Norway here has something they're feeling. Oh, never mind. That's our fault. Because Norway is sort of very good friends with Britain. So Germany sort of isolated them from the European Economic Fellowship, the proto-EU. But countries like America feel it. They're feeling it pretty hard. And it's going to cause trouble. In America, it's going to cause trouble in Canada. Well, actually, not like great troubles for the Entente powers, but it's going to cause great troubles for America, and it's going to cause some troubles for us. It's going to cause some troubles for Russia. Like it's gonna get real bad in Russia. Communist France shows its true face. The Reds are clearly set to spread their poison, as they have demonstrably shown during the last session of the elections. We must be prepared for anything. So, their elections elected the Totalists. Oh God. Yeah, the Jacobins. Okay. Extremist faction standing in favor of increased centralization and turning France into a vanguard state for all syndicalists to follow. Yeah, this is nasty. So how are we going to deal with the economic crisis here? I mean, our base stability is fucking garbage. Let's guarantee the holdings of private individuals. And let's pop into let's do Imperial restructuring. Forgive me, I probably should have read that. Oh yeah, this is essentially just like getting rid of bureaucratic inefficiencies and stuff. Okay, so Middle Europa, the European economic alliance here, is struggling. We've got a grain situation that's kind of problematic here, so we should sacrifice our political power, which is going to impact our party popularity, but that's fine because we are an emperor and there's not much that can happen there. We're gonna like give aid to Ukraine because Ukraine is very important to us. Not only is Vasil decked out in very nice clothing, he is also the head of a fairly resource-rich country, I believe. They got 56 steel, they got 22 chromium. It's not that rich. They've got some oil, which is important. And also they share a very important border with Romania. Important for us if we want to invade for oil. And they share a border with the Donkobad Union, also oil, and with Russia. So they are sort of a buffer state. If we lose them, we get all these messy borders here, alongside our friends. So, Polish monopolies crash. Business interests in Poland have gone bankrupt, we're losing political power, Black Week comes to an end, gain some base stability as we reform the economy, or as we work towards doing that. So we're almost at our fuel cap right now, so that means let's test how much fuel we got by sending our high sea fleet out into naval exercises. Holy shit, we have a lot. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do more. Pope is dead. Yeah, now we're losing it. Pope's dead, the College of Cardinals is selecting a new one. What I like to do when there's not a lot happening is just go into the different countries and look at their focus trees, because in the beginning sometimes you have to wait a little bit. It's not as bad in Kaiserreich as in normal vanilla. In vanilla, especially for the United States, you're doing literally nothing but building stuff up. So the US is doing defend America's trade, so they're going to do trade interdiction, which is going to help them escort their convoys and take out ours, provided we, you know, go to war with them. Which, you know, hopefully maybe we don't.
Angetreten.
Oh. Gallo seizes control of Ecuador. Alright. Liberalism could not last in Ecuador. Restoration of democracy in Australasia. Interesting. So the Australasian Confederation no longer is a monarchy. So we got a Kenyatta Solf affair here. So an unusual case has reached the highest court in the German state. Anti-colonial activist Jomo Kenyatta has brought a class action lawsuit against former African stadtholder Wilhelm Solf. The case has become something of an embarrassment, as some of the plaintiffs are veterans of the Weltkrieg. It cannot be easily dismissed. They claim that Solf's administration harmed them through policies of illegal land seizures and even abductions and torture, all done with Solf's knowledge and with little legal basis. Quietly, the Foreign Office has explained to the government that such things are common and necessary in our colonial administration. Ouch. They strongly urge we quash this motion. So this is essentially like an opportunity for us to dismantle Middle Africa. Excuse me, Goering? What? Oh, okay. It's a deal, as in a handshake deal, not a, not a you know, the other kind of deal, the sleeping with the fishes deal. I want to say the court has no right to rule on Middle African affairs. Let them sort it out. I, as a person, would obviously not say that, but in the current situation, I'm ruling the German Empire. Middle Africa is probably the least of my worries when it comes to atrocity. Let's see, Imperial restructuring. Maneuvers in the Carpathians, okay. Yeah, the Romanians are sort of, they're flexing their muscles. I don't like that. Let's do Aftermath of Black Monday. Get that stuff sorted out. Fix our economy. Papal Conclave. They have chosen a new pope. Pope Julius IV. What the fuck? What? Okay, so they have a war pope. They have a crusader pope, a fascist or national populist pope. I'm assuming that is some sort of weird, disgusting Christian populist, like Christian nationalism stuff going on there. That's gonna be interesting. So now we have this weirdo, and we got a fucking weirdo as the Pope. Right, so the FAUD. The Freie Arbeiter, I probably should read this before I start trying to pronounce it in German. Freie Arbeiter Union, Arbeiter Union Deutschlands, or Free Workers Union of Germany. So yeah, is an umbrella organization of several trade unions founded during the turbulent period of 1919, during the French Revolution. You know, not the first one. One of the many. So they are kind of a moderate version of, or like they're a moderate labor union. So we can ban them. It's gonna cost a lot of political power anyways. We're gonna ban them. Take 50 less hit, and the French are gonna react, and they can, in theory, go to war with us about over this. I believe, but they won't. I hope. Usually they don't go to war over trivial matters like that. They go to war over this shit. Alsace-Lorraine. Or they go to war over... Or we go to war over this. They try to take territory from the Switzerland. Or it sort of just, I guess, just happens. It becomes this, like, situation where a war... or sorry, a war with Germany kind of becomes integral to their national identity. First International Congress. Yeah, this is a generic event that happens just to sort of highlight the new goals of the International. Okay, yeah, that's us just reacting to the International. So the International is happening, all the Reds are meeting. Their efforts are focused on Asia and on North America. Oh, in Chicago. Financial troubles in the colonies. So this can fuck up Middle Africa and the AOG and potentially Germany East Asia. Our base stability is just like it's in the fucking, it's down the drain. No matter what we do, we're gonna go below zero. So raise taxes, appease them. We want to keep the colonies for as long as possible because they have the resources we need in order to actually fight any war. Let's see how our fleet training is going. Alright, so they're getting out of the sort of green area. We don't want any of our fleets to be green. Because if you're green, I believe you get a minus 25% combat modifier. Halbstarke Terror. Oh, okay, so people or like teenagers are stealing bread. Because they can't afford to eat. Afghanistan never wins this war. This never goes well for them. Because, I mean, in the short term, they can in theory take over India. Which white pieces them and gives them some territory, I think. But in the long term, if they don't like immediately do that, yep. There we go. Territory was taken. If they don't immediately do that, I believe they took this Peshawar. This is Kashmir. This is the area Pakistan and India is in conflict over. But yeah, if they don't immediately take that stuff, the intent is just going to send troops. Like, they've got troops here, they've got troops over there. Dude, yeah. Give me more troops. Never another Schweinemord. Rhineland unrest, yeah, so they're stoking unrest in the workers' unions in the Rhinelands. Which is essentially like the industrial heartland of Germany. Let us organize the youth. Get those teenagers off the street, out of the, thieving business and into the killing business. The only moral thing to do. Every time we get any manpower, it just fucking evaporates as we're using it for our fleets, our ships, our training troops. think we might have enough to sort of mess with one of these guys. Nope, 10. Oh, I think we have a big event. Something happened. Oh, never mind. Game just froze for a second. Usually when that happens, a war is ending or something like that. Like peace treaty or a... Well then. Something big happened. The continuation of the Russian Civil War. Nikolai Bukharin, we've got... Soviet Russia is here, boys. Can we send volunteers? Oh, there's no war yet. So they've broken free. Okay, so they've sort of like declared that this territory belongs to them. And I'm guessing like all the soldiers in that area have defected. Now to see how the Russian Republic reacts. Meanwhile, Mongolia and Maklik are at war. Madman, Ungen Sternberg, Sternberg, I don't fucking know, Sternberg. It's like a German-esque name, but he's a Russian. And his first name is very Russian. Roman. So we have a choice here: concentrated or dispersed industry. For the like. Through my oh my fucking god. Through my entire career in Hearthstone 4, I've only really gone concentrated because dispersed is slightly less efficient, but it's more resistant to bombing. But if you have to sort of set your industry up to be resistant to bombing, you're not going to win the war anyways because you don't control the skies. You want to control the skies with fighters, and the way you do that is by having a more efficient industry. So Manuel Carles assumes full control of Argentina. Oof. Okay, so we've got an Argentinian national populist. Yep. Always fun. Will destabilize Argentina? I'm going to say probably not. Greece seizes German assets. Oh, so they're seizing our assets because we're closing them down because we can't make money because our economy is shit. Like our assets in Greece. I mean, we're gonna apply sanctions because we don't have to be reasonable. We are an empire. The Second Russian Civil War has broken out. When will they learn? I mean... So we got the Bolsheviks against the... Sorry, the Autonomists. Which I'm guessing are like the Bolsheviks of this world. Civil War. Yep, we are going to send volunteers. Old ones go for old equipment. We want to help the Russian Republic, and even though we stand to benefit from a weakened Russian Republic, technically, we want to help them so that we don't get this. Costa Rica. So what is happening in Costa Rica? Where is Costa Rica? Of course, I know where Costa Rica is. Disaster has the otherwise quiet little nation of Costa Rica when the Zentralamerikanische Kaffeegesellschaft, so the coffee company, Central American Coffee Company, Crashed hard on the Berlin stock market. Exchange just... Yeah, stock market exchange. Yep. Offer them assistance. We are going to offer assistance. We're going to stretch ourselves completely thin and not be able to do anything but try to help everyone. The suffragist movement gathers strength. So, I think we want this. Technically. But I say technically. Because I don't know if it actually benefits us at all. Like, it gives us those, like, the stability and stuff, but... This is a game about war, and... Germany can't have women soldiers in this. The syndicalists can, but... We'll promise action, but do nothing. Because we don't want to upset the communists and the USA, but we don't want to pander to them either. Mostly because we're already struggling for political power. We can't spare any. That being said, with the with a token acknowledgement of women's suffrage issues, that is going to be where we end this episode. And thank God for that, because my voice is starting to kill me. Like, my voice is starting to die. So this is probably the last video I'm going to be recording today. Thank you for watching. Next time, hopefully, we will see a resolution to this, because it happens, like, it happens and then it goes away really quickly. It's not like the Civil War in real life. And we will possibly see the beginning of tensions in the United States of America. With that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.